why I'd like to welcome Carl Randazzo of the United Board here today. And Carl is going to be talking about the Energy Task Force, which works together with the other mutuals and GRF as well. Great to have you here today.
Thank you.
A lot of stuff going on. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So, yes, a lot that you're going to talk about here pertains particularly to United, but there's some, of course, that you're looking at as a whole.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. The Energy Task Force was put together, as I mentioned here before, as a task force that addresses all the energy issues within the community. Mm-hmm. You can't sort of like segregate Third from GRF from United. Right, okay, we all share the same electrical and same other energy usage issues. Okay, so we have to address it as a global thing. And as you mentioned, there are two directors from. It's comprised of two directors, and I'll recap just for those that don't know. It's comprised of two directors from United, two directors from Third, two directors from GRF, and then we have some advisors on this committee, and these are voting advisors too, because of the fact that the committee is made up of people that are going to address energy issues. Okay, so at that particular point in time, you're looking for that technical expertise.
Yeah.
Even though a number of us on the committee, the directors, are engineers, there is certain expertise, okay, that we may not be completely familiar with. So as a result of that, we have these advisors on their committee.
Yes, right.
Now, we met this past Wednesday, and I'm the vice chair of the committee, of the task force. We don't want to use the word committee. And I had to chair that committee because unfortunately our chair has some health issues right now that he's addressing, and everyone at that committee wished him well so that he gets better soon and he can be able to chair the next committee, the next task force meeting. As a part of the meeting, we go through a project log and go through a number of different issues, and because of the fact this was the end of the year, we reviewed the year 2018 plus looked at things in the future that we're going to be doing this year. So let me touch on some of those things. Within the United community and GRF, I don't want to address any of the Third issues. I don't want to steal their thunder because they'll have somebody come on that will be talking about energy and various other things within Third. So let me just talk about United and GRF stuff, and this is just touching on some of the higher level points, okay, that we discussed. Within United, there are and only in United, we have something called a Pushmatic panels. These are electrical panels with breakers, and these are Pushmatic circuits. And these Pushmatic circuit breakers have sort of like phased out. The newer ones, the GE ones or what have you, are a lot better. So as a result of that, we're phasing these out. And there's 2,750 of these panels within the community, and we're replacing them over a 10-year period that will end in 2026. And right now, as of in 2018, we replaced 244 of these panels. So it's an ongoing contract that will be ongoing for a 10-year period, which started back in 2016 and will end in 2026.
Okay.
The other thing we are also doing within United is reviewing on an ongoing basis the walkway lighting. Sometimes people have issues with the fact that there's no lighting in this area versus that area, and we have people calling in and saying we need to have walkway lighting here and now, here or there, and as a result of that, we have people go out and determine whether or not it's really required in that area. An evaluation is done, and based on that evaluation, we either add lighting in that area, which requires us to dig trenches and basically extend the cabling, or we provide a different type of lamp in that area so that it will be able to light a larger area. And this past year, we did that in 41 locations. So we discussed that, and that was basically a recap of 2018, and we'll continue with that program in 2019. The other thing that we discussed was the fact that in this building, in the community center, the HVAC system is old.
Yes.
And as a result of that, it also needs to be integrated into an electrical energy management system. And some of that work, we've contracted with an organization, with a company to do this work.
Right.
And That work has basically started with some preliminary work having been already accomplished, and within the April-May timeframe, we will then be taking these large HVAC units and bringing them up on the roof and actually replacing them. So at that particular point in time, with all the preliminary work we've done so far, and then with the culmination of the actual installation of the new HVAC units, we will have completed that within the April and May timeframe, so that when summer comes, we're ready to go.
Yeah, and it's, believe me, this building needs it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing right now is it's also going to be more energy efficient when we do that, because we'll have better zoning and what have you.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a win-win for everybody. The other thing we discussed is electrical vehicle charging. Now, that's always, it's a thing that within California has become a major issue. Within the community, it's not that big of a deal yet, because I think there's less than 100 cars right now that have been actually we've been informed that people own. And in the carports, it's very hard sometimes to plug in, because if you're in a carport, you can only plug in one car at a time, otherwise you blow that circuit. And I mean, it's not a big deal, then they have to reset the breaker. But in order to address that, I'll discuss in a minute, okay, the fact that we have an advisor that's addressing some of those issues. But right now, within the community here right now, at the community center, we have an opportunity. We have a bollard outside in the back that belongs to us that has 2 extension cords off of it. That is being used by anybody to charge their card, and you can either you can actually pay for that service. The intent here is to look at the possibility of expanding that.
Okay.
Now, here's the deal. The deal right now is the fact that, and let me just make sure I get this right, the SCEIP, Southern California Incentive Project, has a program that will reimburse us 75% of the cost, up to $210,000, if we install electric vehicle charging in a publicly accessible area. You cannot do it in the community. You can do it, but they won't give you any money. Okay?
Yeah.
So under the circumstances right now, we'd like to be able to take advantage of that, and it's only good for 2019, and I think it's good until, I don't remember the exact date, but I think we have to get it done by September, October of this year.
So where would these, like, for instance, the ones behind this building are publicly,
Correct.
Anybody can come.
Correct.
Somebody who's working in another building could park their car there.
Correct.
Who have nothing to do with this community.
Right.
So does that mean you would expand something like that?
We would definitely put them adjacent to that area,
Okay.
because
All right.
the 2 good things about that is the fact that the infrastructure's in place.
Yes.
So it's just a matter of
Okay.
extending that. And then the second thing is the fact that it is in a public area, and we would be reimbursed by the Southern California Incentive Program. You know, so it's a win-win for us. I mean, if we're going to do it, then we do it with that. So as a result of that, we are looking into that. We're in the early days of that, but we will continue working through that and see how we can address that, because we also, if we put too many bollards there, the city may get involved. There's a whole bunch of things.
All right.
We have to do a little bit more homework,
Yeah.
but that is the intent right now, to sort of like take advantage of at least part or all of that $210,000.
Okay.
I mean, it's in our best interest to do that.
And then anything that goes in the community, that's different.
That's a different story altogether, because that's only accessible by people that live in the community, and they won't give you any money for that.
Okay.
As far as I know right now, unless they change the law.
Okay.
With this new governor, who knows. And then the other thing that we discussed, which is a very important item, is the fact that, and I've mentioned here before, that we've hired an energy advisor to look at the overall issues that we have in this community with regard to electrical infrastructure, the shortage of power and what have you, and the possibility of expanding our possibility of charging electric vehicles at some point. Now, right now, as I said, within the carport areas, people in Third, some of them have garages, they don't have any problems, okay? But people that are in the carport areas, there's 1 or 2 outlets in a carport, and those outlets are only good for 20 amps, and
Yeah.
sometimes you draw about 12 to 15 amps depending on the type of car you have. So as a result of that, if you try to put 2 cars to charge in that one particular location, you'll draw beyond the capacity of that particular 20 amps, and you'll blow the breaker.
Yeah, yeah.
So right now, we would have to basically enhance the infrastructure, and provide cabling and transformers to do that work. And right now, Southern California Edison said that they have no intentions of increasing the amperage of our and the voltage of our transformers. So as a result of that, you will not be able to enhance that unless we pay for the transformers. We're still working out that detail. But at this particular point in time, they're working on the whole thing of looking at infrastructure in this community and how it's affected because we have power outages in certain areas.
Right.
And
right,
as a result of that, so we are in the early stages of that. They just started this work back in December, and they're trying to get SCE to provide some information about the transformers, and SCE has been reluctant to provide it to us because of security issues. With this whole thing with terrorists and what have you now, okay, it becomes a big deal. You have to prove that you really need that information, and you know.
Okay.
So as a result of that, we're working through those details, and we've had a couple of issues trying to get that information, but we'll work through the details and get it done.
Yeah, and you know the thing is with this is coming up in the near future, very near future, more and more people are going to be having electric vehicles, and it really suits the needs of people who live here who don't drive that far.
Right.
It's a perfect situation, and I know you've talked about this before as others, that you want to be able to market this place in, again, the not too distant future of, you know, you come here, we're ready for you with your electric vehicle and things like that. That's going to be a selling point.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're looking towards that goal, as I said, but this advisor is looking at the whole big
Sure,
picture,
sure.
and one of that is the electric vehicle.
Yeah. All right, Carl,
Well,
good
thank
to
you.
see you.
Same here.
Thank you for coming on today, sir.
You're welcome.
You take care.
Take care.
Happy
Thank
New Year
you.
to you.
Same to you.
We'll be back.